All right, shalom, shalom to the whole full elect of the nation of Israel. We're going to start off this lesson by giving all praises and honor and glory to Yahweh.
Yahweh.
All right. And double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone who rule well and has taught us this word in truth and sincerity. All right, and peace and mercy to the whole full elect that are also pushing this word across the four corners of the earth in truth and sincerity, and you little amount of sisters that may believe as well. As you can see, the title here is an introduction to the pure tongue, pure language, which is the Hebrew, but in the Hebrew is called the Lashon Kodash, and this is inspired by what Apostle Ricard said on the New Year's Eve live when he mentioned he's talking to some new brothers that have come into this truth and basically asked them a couple questions on the Hebrew, and they didn't know anything really. So it's really good. It's very good for us to go through these things, right? Especially for newer comers in this truth, to understand the Hebrew and to recite it over and over again, make it a practice. And that's where your foundation should be built upon, is the Hebrew. That's our heritage, that's our custom, that's our tongue, not these languages that we've been born with or came up with in under captivity. Okay, so I'm gonna pull up here the language, the tongue. As you see here, the Hebrew, it says ancient Hebrew alphabet. So there's about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 22 characters, okay, in the Hebrew alphabet. And you see two different kind of Hebrew alphabets here. The top one is Paleo or Phoenician, the Phoenician Hebrew, Paleo or Phoenician Hebrew. The bottom one here is what most people are more familiar with. Most people are more familiar with is the Assyrian Hebrew. Okay, the reason why there's a difference between the two is because under the Assyrian captivity, which is also the Babylonian captivities, because a lot of the Babylonians were Assyrians. Okay, so it got switched. We kind of switched it up a little bit when we got exiled out of the land of Israel and taken by the Babylonians, right? By the prophecy of Jeremiah. So the proper pronunciation for these characters, we're going to deal with the Phoenician Hebrew. You're going to see both. And by the way, the Hebrew is read from right to left. Okay, so you can see here.
This man has you reading left to right and writing left to right.
Right. Yeah.
That's just a little side note of the backwardsness.
Right.
Go ahead.
Con. And so you see
in
here.
In his kingdom, the left is virtue. Virtue. Right. That's what he calls Slakia, brother.
No, it's okay.
Didn't mean to cut you there, but I did some looking into that. The left there for him is virtue, which is we know what it is. It's deception in spirit and in truth. But anyway, go ahead, brother.
Con. So you see these little characters here, and Lord willing, we do a series to this. We'll go into these characters in upcoming lessons and explain them as well. But first character is Ah. Then the second character is Ba. Ga for the third character, Da, Ha, and Wa. And if you're catching on, you're seeing that these are like the vowels sounds that we have in the English language, where they say ah, ga, ba, ga. These all derive from the ancient Hebrew language.
Yeah, these are consonants basically.
Yeah, that's right.
Right, consonant, which means with sound, right? And that's what that means. So these are things that a baby would say. Right, you would hear a baby say these consonants, and that that just shows you any kind of baby.
Right.
You know,
That's
but
right.
then they pick up the tongue of the, obviously the people they're with. But brothers got to get into this and write it out. If you're like that, if you're better at learning, memorizing and writing, some brothers can just look at it and get it in their mind. There's different ways. Like I used to just write it out repeatedly. I just got a notepad. I wrote out each character just to see how how to write it.
Yeah.
You can write it well, and then you can learn to pronounce it, and then you can memorize it.
Right.
You know.
Yep. Yeah. Wa, za, ka, ta, ya, ka.
Yeah,
Right.
that ka is really like a kha. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, yeah, that's true.
Because that's the two differentiation of kha and then ka. If you want to be technical,
Yeah, yeah.
Just for the for brothers,
Absolutely, absolutely. Yeah. You have here the little hook. It says la, ma, na, sa, I, pa, taza, ka,
kwa.
Kwa. That's right. Kwa.
Like Lashawan Kwadash, right?
Exactly. Khan. Kwa. Ra, Sha, and Fa. So that's, you pause and replay this section, and that's how you properly pronounce each character in the Hebrew alphabet. And don't forget, this is different from Ka here. There's Ha, Ka, right? You gotta have to practice that little if or gif in the beginning of it to give it that different sound from this. And you see here the same pronunciations. Don't get mixed up with the different characters. The same pronunciations, just as different characters, right?
Yep.
I also have here certain words. Now, this is a good website for brothers, newer brothers, if you want to get into the, when you're getting into the Hebrew and you're getting all the words down. This is greatmillstone.info. And this is basically the Hebrew booklet when it comes to all our words. And so it has about, around, masab, right? Abundant is rob, accept is quabal. So you can go through all these different words.
And each word, Salaki, when you go up, please again.
Yeah.
Like the next one that says a cross, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's ba'ad, right?
Con.
So it's like each consonant is really sound. You make sound with it. That's what it means, consonant with sound. Ba'ai, right? So like for example, but it just shows you there's no so-called silent letters like in English. You have literature class, English class. Oh, you have silent. What the hell is that, man?
Right.
You'll have a letter in front and you can't pronounce it. Oh, it's just there.
It's silence.
Yep. I actually got a quick precept because your point. Because basically, when you sing, you make sounds. That's basically what you're doing.
It's like a note.
It's a note. That's right. You're singing to the Lord. And so, let me get this quick precept here. And that's why you have Psalms, right? Which is really a song, right? Those are things that you'd be singing to the Lord. In the Hebrew, if you would read the precepts in Psalms in the Hebrew, it would sound like you were with perfect pronunciation. It would sound like you're singing.
Exactly. That's why at the High Holy Days we rehearse, and when we pray, it's like a song. When we send the curses, when we do the Shema, Yasher Allah, right?
Yeah, Khan. Exactly. This is Psalms 104 and 33, and it reads, I will sing unto the Lord Yahweh as long as I live. I will sing praises to my power while I have my beginnings, my being, Slaki, my being. You know, um, my meditation of him shall be sweet. I will be glad in the Lord. So basically, man, just hitting the point that this thing's about singing, like you're truly singing when you're speaking in the Hebrew, right? And like I said, if we would have perfect pronunciation, right, we would be singing. It would sound like we're singing the sweet sound to the Heavenly Father. So I also have this too here. This page here, just so for brothers, this page also gives you the, hold on. Let me just pull it up right here. It also gives you, oh, it won't come up. Give me a second.
And as just a side note, when the brother mentioned Paleo Hebrew,
Yeah.
that's just a term that the scholars call it, and that Paleo just means ancient Hebrew, but it's pretty much, you know,
Mhm.
it's pretty much a fact that that's Hebrew, because you have a bunch of countless stone inscriptions and all kinds of artifacts that have that exact Hebrew, and that exact Hebrew, which predates the Syrian Hebrew, which the brother showed before, the second one, right?
Yeah.
That exact Hebrew, the ancient one, the Paleo, is found in America, right?
Yeah.
In things like the Las Lunas stone, the Bat Creek stone.
Moabite stone.
I think there's one called the Cherokee stone,
Mm-hmm.
right? So there's a lot.
Yeah, that's right. And
Yeah, the water.
Con. And I was just gonna say, when you go into so when you go to this website, greatmillstone.info, it actually gives you all the prayers as well. So you can see the prayers here. It tells you this is what Numbers 6 and 25. The Lord make his face shine upon thee and be gracious unto thee. So this is something that you would say to another brother, right?
Yeah, this is part of the anointing, I think.
Yeah.
Or the anoint, like it's one of the prayers.
Right.
Because that has the Sabbath service. So brothers that they think the whole Sabbath service is so complicated. Nah, man, just look it up for yourself so you know the flow of it.
Yeah,
you know,
exactly.
you're not just, oh, let me, what's he gonna say next? Okay, what's gonna happen next? You got to look it up. You know, it's not a deep thing.
Con.
Mhm.
Let me just get it.
You know, the wine blessing and all these other things, right?
Yeah. Yep. The wine blessing. You can even get the Lord's Prayer, which is very important, man. That should be something that you do in the Hebrew. The Lord's Prayer is here. And he even tells you, Our Father, Abba Nawah.
Yep. Yeah.
Right? And you see all the characters again from right to left, which is in heaven, Shabbat Shemayim.
Yeah, and it's like a side note, man, this just brought a flashback because I used to write out this prayer after I learned the Hebrew. So you brothers can learn the Hebrew, the concept, each letter, and then you can start writing out prayers and get fancy with words, and then you can start doing all that. Like everything you see here, you can write it out as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it'll be in your mind more.
Absolutely. Yep. And something that I used to do when I was coming up earlier is like, because some of these words are big, right? You see Shabbat Shemayim, these are big words, Wa Salakanawa, these are huge words. So I would break it up within the vowels or the what was that word you said again? That was
the consonant.
Yeah, the consonant.
Yeah.
Word. I'd break
because there's not a lot of vowels in the ancient Hebrew.
Right.
If you look it up, there's only there's no e.
Yeah.
It's mainly it's basically sounds, things you can make out.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. So when you come to these big words, you can break them up and say, yeah, You could break them up and say them by the consonant, by the two word, letter word, right? Ka, sa, la, na, wa. Ka, sa, la, ka, na, wa. You know, once you get good with it. So these are little tricks. So you break them up in pieces.
That's right.
Say it.
Right. You can break up the word, like the first word, Abanawa.
Right.
You can look and say, okay, Abba is father, and then
Mhm.
Nawa is our, and then you just learn something.
Exactly.
And then you brothers, you know, that get into Hebrew, you know that whenever you add the Nawa at the end of something, then it makes it our.
Exactly.
Right.
Khan. That's right. That's right. Right. Like Shamka. Right. Your name.
Yeah, Ka. When you have the Ka, that means it makes it your.
Roar.
At
Exactly.
the end. So certain things like that, you start learning, and catching on.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Let me bring up this precept too, because you know it's not a coincidence. You know, you might say to yourself as a newcomer in this faith, and say to yourself, you know, why is all this important? You know, I speak English, and doesn't the Lord understand my language? Understand me in the language I speak? He does, absolutely. But there's more power and force behind the Hebrew language. Actually, let me get that first.
Yeah, that's. I'll just say that's a lazy mindset.
Yeah,
Because you got to study, you know, and
it's
you
true.
gotta understand that this is a backwards ass tongue anyway. You know,
Exactly.
it's really a cursed tongue. So the more you speak, the more you say simple things like Khan to a brother, Shalom,
Yeah.
you know, just use little Hebrew words, man. Salaki, brother. Salaki
Yeah.
ak, you know. And then some brothers mess up because they say, I heard it before, but some brothers, they mix up the English and the Hebrew. They say like they'll say something like ak.
Yeah.
They'll say like akyams, but
Oh, yeah.
they'll add the s, but you don't need that because that's not Hebrew.
Yeah.
Because plural brothers is just akyam, but you'll try to, you know, like akyams, like it's in Hebrew English.
Yeah.
Little things like that, you gotta, you know, you'll start learning, right?
Yeah. Con. But this is just if you brothers go into your Apocrypha, or you know, you read the prologue for Sirach, the first chapter, right? It tells you in the prologue that there's more force to be uttered. There's more force behind the Hebrew language, you know, and that's because it's the original language, really, the Lashwan Kadash, right? Which we'll get into right away here. Is the original language of the whole earth. And that's why it's also called the pure tongue, the pure language. Pure song. But yeah, go for yourself. I'm not going to read through all this, but go through yourself, find this prologue, get the prologue, read the prologue in the Apocrypha, and you can read it, and it'll tell you that the Hebrew language has more force in it.
Are you trying to find that part?
Yeah.
Oh, Salaki, my bad. Hold on.
It's all good.
I got it highlighted. So it's. Yeah, I'll just read it. So it says, wherefore let me entreat you to read it with favor and attention, and to pardon us, wherein we may seem to come short of some words which we have labored to interpret. For the same things uttered in Hebrew and translated into another tongue have not the same force in them.
See?
And not only these things, but the law itself and the prophets and the rest of the books have no small difference when they are spoken in their own language.
You see? So, you know, the changing of the Hebrew or the Lashwa Kandash into all these other different languages actually watered down the power, the force in behind it, you know, watered down the force and the power of us connecting with the Heavenly Father. Because if we're speaking Greek or English, you know, the Most High is just having mercy on us, you know, by hearing us, you know, by responding to us. Right. But once you receive this truth, and you and you know, you receive the language, you know, you got to put in the work to study, right? So you can strengthen your relationship with the Heavenly Father. Because I myself have done, yeah, there you go. It's right here. I myself have put up curses in the Hebrew, and man, you see some crazy things, man. I'm pretty sure we all have had experiences like that. That's for your own, you know, for your own testimony and for your own to build up your own faith and show you the power behind the Hebrew, man. So let me get this Zephaniah 3:9. It says, "For then will I turn to the people being the Israelites that are scattered abroad, a pure language, that they may call upon the name of the Lord Yahweh, to serve him with one consent." Yeah, so it was prophecy that we were going to come back to this language, right? And this and call upon. That's how we were able to receive the name of the Lord.
And we're not fully there, but
Yeah.
it's like a shadow of, like as Paul said, a shadow of things to come.
A shadow of things to come.
You know, so it's just like a resemblance. We're just getting back. Hey, we're just waking up, man. You know, you just wake up. Yeah, you know,
it's true.
So groggy.
It's true.
That's right.
Yeah. Very true.
The baby
Paul
is
said
waking
that.
up.
He
The
said,
Lord is waking up the baby.
In Corinthians, I think, right? He mentioned, you know, we don't see
Yeah.
clearly.
Yeah.
It's like a mist, and then he said, but soon we'll see like face to face.
Right.
You know.
Yeah. Yeah. That's right. So let's go through this word here. Pure language. Right. And it's pure language. Let me pull up the alphabet. So, like we say, you read it from right to left. So the first character there is this half square looking like character, right? Which would be what? Ba. Right? And then you have basically a back.
This one you gotta more study because it's some of these characters, they resemble each other.
Yeah.
You know, this is a little bit more meticulous than the ancient Hebrew.
Right.
But it's also necessary, man. You got to do it.
Yeah.
You know, like to the best of your ability. But at least, the very least, what you see up top, you brother should know. You know. But what the brother's doing now, he's trying to chop down the blue letter because it's basically like a code, man.
Yeah. Yeah.
To read it in the ancient.
Yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely. So you see here, we got Ba, and then you got the 7 lookalike character. That gives us what? Da. And another 7 lookalike character. So you see these little characters here on the bottom. You see the line and the line with a dot. So when you here, let me see if I can pull it up here. Let's see. Okay, I can't really pull it up here, but I'll just see if I can explain it simply. So basically, when you see these little characters, these dots on the bottom, you take, because each character has 2 letters to it, two letters to it. So if the last character has that line to it, you're only taking 1 letter from that character, which is, I'm not mistaken, the first letter or the second letter, sorry, right? And adding it to the second character. So here, this is what word is this? This is pure, a pure language. Pure. So we go to pure in this, we'll find it right here. Pure. The word pure is they don't even have it in here.
The word pure, if I'm not mistaken, is supposed to be tahar.
Khan. Yeah, you're right. You're right. Wonder why they didn't even.
Some words
Is
they
that the
don't have.
same?
They
Is
don't
that the
have
same
to.
word for clean?
See,
well?
this is why. Listen, the blue letter goes off. It goes off at times because that's what they should have. But when you see here, yeah, because they put clean. They put clean, right? It says
Which is supposed to be
purify, select, polish, to purge, purge out. It says to cleanse, make shiny, right? To test, prove. So they're bringing all these different kind of definitions when with it says to be clean, when there should be one definition for the one word. But the water elder, the word for pure is tahar, actually, right? So when we go into language, you're gonna see lashawan. Lashawan. See, what do they say here? Let's see what
Strong's H8193. Safa. Safa.
Okay, so that's what you heard. Look how much of a difference it is from that to that. So again, you see this is like a weird W look-alike, almost look like the Torah candles or the candlesticks. Yeah, menorah candlesticks, Khan.
Yeah, like if it's like I went to I typed in pure
Yeah.
and I pulled up Exodus 25:11, for example. It mentions, and thou shalt overlay it with pure gold. When you look up that word pure, it's tahawar, and then when you go to the root, it's tahar.
Ah, look at that.
Which means to be clean, be pure.
Pure.
To be clean physically of disease. Yeah.
You see? Wow. Beautiful.
I don't know that Hebrew, bro.
And this is how
Strong's H2889. Tahor. Tahor.
Excuse me, Selassie.
Hey, there's no O in Hebrew. All right.
Yeah, Khan.
Tahor, right?
Right, and like you see the root tahar. Right, tahar. And like the elder just brought out, it means to be clean, to be pure, to be clean, right? So Lashwan, you see that there. So this is something that like you're gonna I know my first couple of years I was constantly going back and forth, and when Apostle Tahar would say that the blue letter goes off, this is when I could start to see it clearly. When you go into the Hebrew, you can see that the blue letter goes off from time to time.
Beautiful.
Let me pull this out here.
Hey, can you pull up after Zephaniah, Isaiah 19?
Khan, Isaiah 19.
Yeah, because that's a prophecy, man. That's the answer to why brothers ask, "Oh, why do we got to get to the Hebrew?"
Khan.
And this is not to say that every brother is going to be a super duper Israelite that knows the Hebrew. You're not going to have a doctorate in Paleo Hebrew, but at least you know the alphabet, man.
Yeah.
You know what certain things mean, and then you can develop that knowledge.
Yeah. Isaiah 19:1 or
8? I think it's 18.
Khan.
The language of Canaan.
Oh, yeah. Khan, the 5 cities, right? Something like that. In that day, yeah.
19. It might be 19.
19 and 18, right?
Check that one.
Khan, it says in that day shall 5 cities in the land of Egypt speak the language of Canaan and swear to the Lord of hosts. One shall be called this city, the city of destruction.
Yeah, and we're in modern day Egypt.
That's right.
And hold on, when it mentions the language of Canaan, that's why sometimes it's called Phoenician.
Phoenician, right?
Phoenicians were Canaanites on the coastline, right, of Zidon and was it Tyrus and Zidon?
Tyrus and Zidon,
right?
Yeah.
And there's a lot of Hebrew artifacts from over there as well.
That's
but
right.
They call it Phoenician, which is a buzzword for Canaanite. The language of Canaan which Israel was known as what before? It was known as the land of Canaan,
Con.
right?
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's right, man. And you could real quick. Actually, brother just sent me this real quick on the Moabite stone.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, it's kind of freezing now. Come on now. These gremlins, man.
Mm-hmm. We've been getting that.
Yeah, just give it a couple seconds here, man.
Oh, froze up.
Yeah, for a little bit. Yeah, it just does that for a second. Ah, there we go.
I have a precept
Yeah.
based on what the elder went into in regards to the language, right? And it's, you notice it says we're actually speaking about the language, not languages, but the language,
Con.
all right? Which is, all right. So this precept here in Genesis 10, it's going to show us all the families.
Real
right?
quick, can I bring this up?
You got it. No, yeah. Go
Yeah,
for
then
that
I'll bring-
first, because this is, yeah. Go
Just,
ahead.
we brought.
No, take
we
your time, brother. Go.
We mentioned this picture here. So basically, you can see it's called the Mesha Stele, the Moabite stone, 835 BC, the ancestors of the Chinese race. So that's who the Moabites are. All right. And real quick, it says the Moabite stone was discovered in 1868, about 20 miles east of the Dead Sea. What is most amazing is that it mentions Israel, Yahweh, and the house of David. It is now in the Louvre Museum in Paris. The Bible says that Mesha, the king of Moab, stopped paying tribute to Israel. Mesha, king of Moab, rebelled against the king of Israel, 2 Kings 3 and 5. Well, Mesha made his own record of the rebellion. It is known today as the Mesha Stele, or the more popular designation, the Moabite stone. It was found in 1868 at Dibon in Moab. Both documents, 2 Kings 3
and
5, and the Mesha inscription describe the same event. So both the inscription was written on the Moabite stone and was written in 2 Kings 3 and 5 describe the same event, or 2 Kings the 3rd chapter describe the same event. To revolt of Mesha, but from entirely different perspectives. So as you see here, if I zoom in, you see the Lord's name in the Paleo, ancient, or Phoenician Hebrew, from right to left. These characters right here. Okay, just to show you, man, that this language was a language that's from the ancient, literally from the ancient, man. All right, Elder, go ahead. You say you had a precept?
Yes. Real quick, basically, I was looking for it. That's why it took so long, but I didn't find the one that talks about that. What we're going into is a command from the Lord. So it's a commandment. Zephaniah 3 and 9 as well. And I was looking for it in the Torah, right? Because it tells us that the language and the speaking of the Hebrew is a command to Israel, right? But what I wanted to do, since it came out with the Mesha Stele and what the elder had mentioned in regards to who spoke the language, basically I was just going to go to the record, which is in our Hebrew booklet. That's where I'm getting it from, because I couldn't find what I really want. So Genesis 10,
right.
If you could get to Genesis 10, right, 21 to 25, just to read that goes into the pure language that there was a time when we all spoke one language, and it was this language.
Yeah. Yep. Let me get
Okay.
the 11 and 1 and I'll come back to this because that's
Yeah.
actually
Okay.
exactly what you're talking about.
I was going to go next, but beautiful. Go ahead. Go there first.
Genesis chapter 11, verse 1, it says, and the whole earth was of one language and of one speech. Okay, so that shows you that the earth was of one language and of one speech. I just want to see the blue letter goes off when you go to language, because when you pull up language here in the Hebrew booklet, I'm just going to pull it up real quick. Language, right? It says language right here. Language, tongue, Lashawan, right? Now, blue letter, when you go into language, has, that menorah looking character, which starts you off with Shah, right? And then this other character, which is here, that would be Pa. And then this like kind of broken, like a house, almost like, house look-alike. It's Ha. So it would be Shah Pa Ha, but that's not correct. All right. So again, that's why you have to.
Oh, you know what? Hold on. I found it. These guys play games, but if you go to Deuteronomy 28:49, the word tongue there is Lashawan.
Oh, look at that. Okay, let's get that. Deuteronomy 28.
Yeah, these devils play around, man.
They do. 49?
Yeah, 28 and 49, yeah. Last word, tongue.
Tongue. So, let's get that real quick. You see? This is you devil play around, like the other said. Tongue. Yeah, see, and that's how did they say it here? They say
Strong's H 3956. Lashon.
So we got like a squiggly sign. Almost like
Hello.
Yeah.
This is Lechon.
Right. So almost like a snake and ladder sign, right? The snake is there. And when you look at that, it says La. So we're starting off on the right foot. La. La. And then the menorah sign again. La.
Yeah, that La is some letters are easy to remember because they kind of they have resemblances to the ancient. Like very unique. Like the La, you can tell there's really no.
Yeah, like here. Yeah. The La here and the La there. Yeah, that's true. And Shah, right, with the menorah looking like sign.
Yeah, same with Shah, exactly.
Exactly. Yeah. That's why. And see, that's the funny. It's a spirit. That's why I always say it looks like a W, but in my mind, it's because I learned this first. This looks like a W right here. So La Shah, and then you have like almost like a half 7, short 7, I should say. And that's Wa, right? And Wa here is like a little hook, something that you put like a thread through. Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
That's because the Wa represents a fish hook.
Right.
Wawa. Right.
Yeah. Well. Yeah.
That's a thing. We'll get into next time.
You're right. Yeah. Fine. Yeah, we'll definitely have to do a series on this, Lord willing.
Oh yeah.
And then another one, little 7 here. That one looks bigger than the other one. Right. So we'll go Wa, and that would be right here. See, they have 2 characters. So this is what I was talking about earlier.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I was talking about earlier. So you see, you be la, sha, wa, and then you see the little dot on top of the second last character. That means you would take away the last letter of that continent or of that sound, and you would add it to the letter before it, which would be Lashwan. So WA, you would add the N. So it'll make it Lashawan.
Mm-hmm.
So that's how that works. So yeah, Lashawan. There you go. But going back to, you said Genesis, right? Genesis 11, now Genesis 10, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this will go into that real quick. All the nations
Yeah.
following us. That was the language that was given. It's telling us here with the record,
Yeah.
right? And it
So we
was
know,
this holy tongue,
yeah.
right? But anyway, go ahead.
So we know that originally in the beginning there was one language. The whole world was a one speech, and that was the Lashawan,
Mm-hmm.
right? Lashawan Kadash. So it says Genesis 10 and 24.
Actually, before you go there, brother, jump
Yeah.
down in chapter 10 where you were reading to verses 6 and 7 real quick,
Okay.
and then go to it. Okay? It'll just, all right? Because since you already brought it out.
Fine. So Genesis 10 and 6, it says, and the son of Ham, Cush, and Mizraim, and Put, and Canaan. And the sons of Cush, Sheba, or Seba, and Havilah, and Sabatha.
Oh, Salaki, are you at Genesis 11?
Oh, I thought it said Genesis 10.
Yeah, no, I said where you were, 11, Salakia, and just read verse 6 and 7. Salakia.
Okay, so
My fault.
Genesis
Go ahead.
11, verse 6 and 7, it says, and the Lord Yahweh said, behold, the people is one,
Okay,
and
go
they
ahead.
have all one language.
Mm-hmm.
And this they begin to do, and now nothing will be restrained from them, which they have imagined to do, because they were building, at this time they're building the Tower of Babel.
Right, separation was coming though, but this was the pure language, the one language, but separation would come after. As we know know in the Revelation that the Lord separated us from them, but this was the language that everyone spoke. Okay, now you can go there, brother. Genesis 10, 25 to 20, 21 to 25.
I'll just read 7 real quick. Go to and let us go down and confound their language, that they may not understand one another.
Beautiful.
Right? And beautiful. So you got a broken up, you had a breaking up of the original language, right?
Yeah,
and that's why
the Lord took it away from them, basically. Yeah.
That's why when Abraham went into the land of he was in the land of Canaan. We just read that precept in Isaiah 18 or Isaiah 19 and 18, that 5 cities of Egypt would speak the language of Canaan. You had different dialects of the original language. So it wasn't too hard. That's why it wasn't too hard for Israel to speak, to basically break in the Babylonian language into the Hebrew, making it, and then the Assyrian language into the Hebrew as well, because they were kind of speaking, the Phoenicians were kind of speaking the same language as the original language, because that original tongue was still passed down, as we're going to get.
Go ahead.
I'm just going to jump down to here. Genesis 10 and 24. And our facts.
No, start at 21. 21 to 25. Salaki, that's okay. Genesis 10, 21 to 25. Real quick. If just for the record.
God, unto Shem also, the father of all the children of Eber. Right? We'll get the word Eber. The brother of Japheth, the elder, even to him were children born. The children of Shem, Elam and Ashur, and Arphaxad, and Lud and Aram. And the children of Aram, Uz and Hul and Gether and Mash. And Arphaxad begot Silah, and Silah begot Eber, and Eber and unto Eber were born two sons. The name of one was Peleg, for in his days were the divided. That's a nomen omen.
Yeah, we're going into preservation here for you folks at home. But that's why we're speaking this language today, because those were our fathers right there. It's listing clearly that the Lord preserved the Lashawan Kodash. Right? So, I mean, when we say it, they say, when we speak it, what do they say? They say it's strange. This can't be the real Hebrew, and on and on and on. But anyway, go ahead, brother. Let's get that line straight down. Go ahead.
Peleg means divided, by the way. That's why it says, for in his days were the earth divided. And his brother's name was Joktan. So let's get the word Eber in the Hebrew here. So Eber. So let's see how they
Strong's H 5677. Aver.
So the definition for Eber is the region beyond, right? And also you could say from the past, region beyond.
Yeah, it really means past. I don't know why they.
Yeah, I know.
It's supposed to mean past.
Yeah, it's true.
Change it up.
Change it up, man. That's why you see.
When
you let's look at the word past here in the booklet. Let's see what it gives us here. In the booklet, Hebrew booklet, past, past, or pass, I bar.
Yeah, I looked up past in blue letter. If you look it up as well, it's Ibar.
Mm-hmm. So, okay, Khan. So when we go,
because that was the language of the past. So that was that.
Yeah, exactly. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so and that proves that when Christopher Columbus came here, he brought interpreters that spoke Hebrew.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So let me read this quick. This is from the. Oh, you done?
No, go ahead.
Oh, this is from the Lost Tribes and Promised
that's
Island.
A heater.
Right.
That's a heater, man.
Go ahead.
And this book on page 364, it reads, the woman got off and spoke to Francisco in an Indian tongue. To Montesinos could not understand, although he could perceive that he was being identified in the conversation. She then turned to her male companions to explain the situation. Upon hearing her words, the roles went over the Montesinos, and to his utter astonishment, and say, Shammai Yasharallah Yahweh.
Wow.
And it says, "Hear, O Israel, the Lord Yahweh our power, the Lord is one." They had reside in Hebrew and the fundamentals.
Wow. Look at that.
Yeah, and I think in that book they mentioned that he was from the tribe of Reuben.
Yes,
and his brother Ephraim or something is on an island nearby.
Yeah, that's correct. Yeah.
Con.
Wow. Can you even find that book? Where'd you get that book, bro?
These I got it like a couple of years ago.
Okay.
On Amazon, I believe.
So that's good. That's past. That's Ibar.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, Con. They kind of messed up on the characters because they have the Y. It's like a Y, and you see here the Y is I, and then the half square again, right, which is here Ba, right, and just so you can know in Phoenician or ancient Paleo Hebrew, it's like a circle for the I, and the ba would be like almost like a hook, almost like thing, you know?
What's it look like?
Yeah. And
Well,
then,
when you turn it,
yeah,
like yeah, when you turn it, it's really it's a house, right? That's what Bob represents, like a
yeah,
10.
yeah.
And then the eye actually represents like a
So
human eye.
Right.
let me
Eye lap.
so like let me share just this.
Con, that's
I mean,
true.
pretty much.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Yeah, we got to get into that later and pull that picture up after,
Yeah,
Mhm.
Lord's will in another lesson.
con. And
Because that's the beauty of each letter, man. Each letter is
Yeah. It has
represents
yeah.
something and is a
Con.
word.
yeah,
Mhm.
that's
You
right.
know,
That's right.
Deep and wide. Wow.
Yeah, so
which
I
shows you the
bar.
Most High as an artist.
Con. That's true. Very, very true.
Mhm.
Yeah, I bar. So yeah, that's I bar, man. I got one more precept I'm gonna bring out.
It's kind of late. We can close up.
Yeah, con.
Yeah.
But
I got
the
one
point is for the
precept
brothers,
actually.
man. For first, like we teach ourselves, man, through the Spirit, and then
Absolutely.
we're telling through the Spirit for you brothers, man.
Mhm.
Don't sleep on the Hebrew.
Exactly.
Yes.
Because that's a thing that should be second nature, man. Aren't you a Hebrew Israelite?
That's right. That's right. Mm-hmm. This is Hebrews 4:12. I'll start at 11. It says, "Let us labor, therefore, to enter into that rest." So study, man. Work hard and study. Understand the Hebrew to the best of your abilities.
Mhm.
Lest any man fall after the same example of unbelief.
Mhm.
Right. So if you find it wearisome to learn your own heritage and your own customs, that might mean that you don't actually believe, and you got to pray, because this is our history, man. For the word of Yahweh is quick and powerful and sharper than any two-edged sword, piercing even the dividing asunder of the soul and the spirit. And this happens when we speak in English, man. You know, you imagine if we were breaking down all these scriptures in Hebrew.
Hmm.
Holy. And
Hmm.
Yep.
the joints and the marrow, and is a discerner of the thoughts of the intent of the heart. So your prayer. I brought this out because this happens to demons as well. So when you curse demons out in the Hebrew, this happens. When you pray, and you pray for what you pray for the blessing of your food in Hebrew, it has more power.
Con.
That's
Mhm.
the Lord's word as well. It's written in Hebrew.
Yep.
So that's it for me there. I don't know, brothers, have any last
I
things?
got a quick precept.
Okay, Con.
Acts 26 and 13 and 14.
Mm.
And it read, at midday, O king, I saw in the way a light from heaven about the brightness of the sun,
Mm-hmm.
shining around about me, and then which journey, is that right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Journey with me. It says verse 14, and when we were all fallen to the earth, I heard a voice speaking unto me and saying in the Hebrew tongue,
Yeah.
Saul, Saul, why persecute thou me? It is hard for thee to kick against the prick.
Yep.
Con.
Beautiful precept.
Yeah. That's it, man.
Mhm.
Yeah, the ancient, right? The tongue from the past, from the beginning. That's how he spoke. That's how Yahushua spoke to Paul. Beautiful.
Yes. Wow. That's beautiful. I have to bring on this precept in closing because where we leave off, because it goes right back to basically the pure language in essence. It's a command, and learning the Hebrew is a command as well. And this is what it's bringing out. This is Deuteronomy 31 and 19. If you could read that for me, right? We can leave off there. But
Mhm.
31 and 19. Okay, that's by the way, that's law 613, right, which comprises all the laws, and that's what we've been reciting right now in the form of the language. So if you could read that,
Con.
brother, and that's it. That's all I got.
Con. So Deuteronomy 31:19, it says, "Now therefore write ye this song for you, and teach it the children of Israel, put it in their mouth, that this song may be a witness for me against the children of Israel."
Wow.
That's right.
So it's a scary thing when you think about it. The fear of the Lord has to be upon you, man.
Yeah.
Right. You know, as the elder brought out earlier, you mentioned about real quick there about the laziness. That spirit can come. That spirit of laziness. But the command is right here. You know, to encourage us, right?
That's right. That's right. This thing's a song, man. It's a song.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Anyway, that's the point on that.
Beautiful.
Okay. That's all I got.
All right. So with that, we're gonna close this lesson, and Lord willing, we'll do maybe a series behind these letters, the spirit habit. So with that, we'll close, giving all praises and honor and glory to Yahweh. Double honor to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone who rule well and has taught us this word in truth and sincerity. And peace and mercy to the whole full elect that are also pushing this word across the four corners of the earth, man. And in truth and sincerity. And you little my sisters may believe as well. So with that, we're going to say a Baba Ball.
About the ball.
Lord willing, to the next live lesson, we'll say Shalom to the whole full
Shalom.
elect.
Shalom.
Shalom again.